Welcome wanderers, light workers, seekers on the path, all awakening beings. Welcome to the Sons of the Law of One podcast. This is episode number 13, The Great White Brotherhood. The material here comes from the book Wisdom for the New Age, Teachings of the Great White Brotherhood, as given by Azrael. The only thing given in the book concerning the channel for this material is that his name is Philip. A little information on the Great White Brotherhood. The Great White Brotherhood is perceived as a spiritual organization composed of those ascended masters who have risen from the earth into immortality, but still maintain an active watch over the world. The Great White Brotherhood also includes members of the heavenly host, beneficent members of other planets that are interested in our welfare, as well as certain ascended chelas, or disciples. The ascended masters are supposed to be joined together in service to our earth under the name of the Great White Brotherhood. The use of the term white is supposed to refer to a colorless, transparent, or cosmic aura, and to their advanced spirituality, and has nothing to do with race. The work of the Great White Brotherhood continues, as it shall continue, throughout eternity. The form, the place, the plane, these all may change, but the divine truths which lie at the base and are the foundation of all things shall always remain the same. The immutable law of God remains inviolate, never to be changed, even by God. And what is this law? Save the manifestation of love in every form. The law of God is just. It is right, it is proper, it is fair. All equity and goodness is its reward. Man has sought throughout the ages to change it and its application into the affairs of man, but to no avail. For lo, the love of God overshadows and overcomes all that would suppress it or destroy it. The work of the Great White Brotherhood takes on many forms at times. There are times when it is difficult for man to understand how it may come to pass that certain things occur when and where they do. Frequently, there are occurrences which lead to doubt, skepticism, disbelief. Many times the changes which are brought to bear are really not the wish of the Brotherhood, but are made necessary because of the will of man, your will. For this, too, is part of the immutable law of God. Free will, the right to free thought. This is the gift of God to all men. This work you do now, and which you shall continue to do, in part comes by reason of certain happenings, brought about through change, yet all the while these events were, in a sense, predestined. You have been led to this moment, as you shall be led to many other such moments of contact with the work of the Brotherhood. This is your choice, for were it not your choice, you would not be here, nor would those who hear these words be hearing them. Indeed, dearly beloved, you are about your Father's business. We bless you, dearly beloved. Truth is truth, and forever shall it be the truth, wherever it is found. Man's understanding and realization of it is necessarily limited by his ability to perceive it. But as his insight and awareness and the unfoldment of his higher self progresses from day to day, if not from moment to moment, so too does his ability to perceive of new understanding. and realization changes and becomes clearer. It is the element of change within yourself which is both encouraged and desired. Another purpose served to this means of communion is the opportunity to pass on to you the beautiful joy of hope eternal. This hope is not in any sense an attitude or feeling, as would be conceived in despair. Rather, it is a form of realization grounded in truth, faith, enlightenment, courage, strength, goodness, and righteousness to the highest degree you can presently comprehend. It is in many respects the source of your motivation to seek after higher levels of consciousness. And this, beloved brethren, is also an aspect of God's principle of creation, being made manifest in you. For the fire of the Spirit within you, which is constant in its drive to have you do these things, is never dormant, nor is it intended to be. Indeed, this power of creation is an ever ongoing power in your life, as at all levels of life, from the highest to the lowest form of life. Thus you find that your life is indeed a part of this phenomenon, that you grow, evolve, and ascend even higher upon the spiral of life. We find joy in being permitted this privilege to serve the purposes in part enumerated here. We see that you find joy in them also, and your hope is renewed and strengthened. You are blessed in the never-ending abundance in the love of the Father, Mother, God, which is within you, and with which we bless you now and always. The Christ light is waiting to be used, to be released and expressed in the form of thoughts, words, and deeds of love. This light, divine love, is the power of the universe. Your thoughts send forth a light, the quality of which is determined by and is equal to the nature of your thoughts. The words you speak also send forth a light, its quality also being determined by the quality of what is being spoken. And so, too, do your actions issue forth a light, the quality of which is similarly determined. We speak in this way that you would be more aware of the role this power that we call light plays in your life, and of its continuous presence and involvement in your life. Whenever you think a thought, say a word, or do an act, you both use and express a form of energy. And even if the form of that expression should be low in spiritual value, it is nevertheless a utilization of that energy. Therefore, the purer the form of the expression coming from you, the more radiant the light flowing from it, for purity is its inherent nature. The teachings of the beloved Master Jesus, as with the teachings of all the Masters, concentrate upon the need of man to learn to live a more godlike life, bringing the principles of truth into his daily living and affairs. We too seek to bring the teachings before you with great frequency, even as now, for it is so necessary for you to learn this, that you would express it in your life, in your daily living, the pure white light of God's presence within you. The greater the light you express and radiate becomes of that quality, the stronger and more vibrant and powerful it shall be, and the more meaningful it shall be, not only to your life, but to the lives of all of those to whom you may reach and touch with your life. In your external earthly world, the most commonly accepted and understood form of communication is that of word and action. Upon the invisible inner planes, my beloved brethren, communication is made through the power of thought, and this form of transference of idea or information gives a means for a more complete impartation and clarity of understanding and communion. Thus we know your thoughts, and to a substantial degree, so also does your own inner self receive the thoughts of others as they receive your thoughts? No doubt you have never paused to give attention to the realization of how many thoughts you bring to mind and entertain, but do not express in word or deed. Obviously, without making any calculation or count, you immediately realize that the number of thoughts you entertain and hold in your mind far outnumber those you express externally. Nevertheless, a thought is an expression and a use of energy. And the process of the mind which matures into a thought completes, to that extent, that expression of energy. Thus, a thought brought forth in capacity alone is a completed form of expression of the self that has issued forth. Its nature, its quality, its effect in communicating and expressed upon the invisible planes, and you must realize that your thoughts are indeed comments that you make even though they may not become expressed at that point into the external world. Their effect ultimately does have manifest. Remember, that which is expressed within shall become expressed in the outer self. As within, so without. Hence it should be exceedingly clear why we suggest and teach practicing the presence of God in all your activities, and especially as this applies to the use of your mind and the commitment of thought. The beloved Master teaches, you are the light of the world, and indeed you are. But the brilliance of your light is determined by that which you choose to express. The light of love, the light of knowledge, the light of wisdom constantly surrounds and enfolds you, and to the extent that you let it in, buoys you up, supports you, and carries you gently as if you were in the arms of the Father, being held gently, yet surely and protectively in the power of the divine love of the Father's grace. It is your responsibility to take within and into your being as much of the light as you possibly can. We would give you an example. Were you to submerge yourself in a body of water, diving beneath the surface, you would of course be completely surrounded by the water, would you not? But unless and until you opened your nostrils and your mouth and permitted the water to enter your body, it would have no effect upon your inner self, except for the pressures that it would bring against your body externally. So too, with the light of the Father's divine presence, while there is the light of the Christ within you, there is also more about you. And if you picture yourself as being immersed in the total sea of white light, yet keeping yourself closed off from it, except for that effect flowing from its mere presence, perhaps somewhat as a process of osmosis, you would receive very little of it until you opened yourself to it. In other words, there must be conscious, intended effort to open yourself to the realization and the grace of the Father's presence, and this effort must come from you. It is the creative power of the thoughts of men that brings into form universal substance, which may be useful and necessary in their human lives. Thus man is enabled to create from the divine substance that which may be useful, both to meet his personal needs and to bring into fulfillment God's will for him. The validity of this statement may inspire debate in some circles and immediately questioned in others, because of the many forms of human activity which obviously harbor and foster evil purpose in myriad forms. Our response to such argument and questioning would be, you must look beyond and beneath only the surface or external form of these activities to the ultimate values they may bring into the lives of everyone involved. Someday, somewhere, in some incarnation, if not this one, and in each one, to a degree, at the appropriate moment, the light shall become quickened and be born anew to grow and to unfold, bit by bit, step by step. Ultimately, it shall become a beautiful radiance, as beautiful and as radiant as the light manifested by the beloved Master Jesus. This is the destiny of man, as it is your destiny. If there is any among you who cannot take heart and strength and courage in this, then indeed you are condemned to a long period in darkness and despair. But even you shall ultimately find your radiant destiny in life. For the light within is eternal in its presence and in its purpose. Herein lies one of the main reasons why my beloved Master Jesus taught as he did upon the principle of forgiveness, and gave often of the admonition not to pass judgment upon others. For each of you is indeed a child of God, blessed by the presence of the Father and of the strength of that inheritance already vested within each of you. Thus you shall learn to use the light of the Father's presence. With this light which is within you, which grows brilliantly and radiantly, for it is the love of God waiting to be expressed in love and harmony, you shall attain fulfillment of your quest for spiritual unfoldment. Let your light shine, beloved brethren. Let its limitless power and beauty lighten your path unto the Father. To seek after the way of the humble is the answer. But the way is not easy upon the earth plane. The powers of the lower self are strong, having fed upon the homage you have paid, unwittingly perhaps, to worldly desires over the long period of your existence. These ties are strong and are not easily severed or broken, but they must be, if true, humble stature is to be attained. This is what has brought you to the inner conflict and struggle which rages even now between those two aspects of your being. The lower self does not wish to yield to the urgings and promptings of the higher self. Indeed, it seeks to hold on with all the strength it can muster. O dearly beloved, do not dwell upon that which bring harm and darkness. Rather, concentrate upon that which God has placed within you, that you may have light. Indeed, that you may be light. Use this presence, this power of love, as a source of strength and courage to help you in your journey back to the Father, for this is of its intended purpose. You present quality of being, the higher self and the lower self, the positive and the negative aspects, the good and the evil, all serve to provide you with the means to grow spiritually. Indeed, you have witnessed in your own life, as with all levels of creation, that struggle, conflict, and friction that are the catalysts for involvement and growth. It is for the infinite wisdom to have known of the beauty these experiences yield to the soul of man, that he may learn to use and transmute the low, the negative, and the evil into the higher, thus that purposes of evil may become instead manifestations of love. The law of forgiveness. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. It is imperative that all men understand this principle of forgiveness. This cleansing flow of love must first originate from the individual. In your external world, this principle is not observed or followed by many people. Indeed, most worldly relationships are still governed by the old law of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Everyone seeks redress for whatever wrongs they may have claimed to have suffered. And while this practice conforms to man's law, it does not give obedience to God's law of forgiveness. Indeed, this is not forgiveness, and does nothing to teach forgiveness. Rather, it breeds and fosters the opposite, attitudes and feelings of resentment, hate, anger, and fear. You, beloved brethren, have come a long way along the paths you have chosen. However, it is suggested that when you make it a point from time to time, and especially while within the silence of your inner self, to examine carefully the nature of your secret thoughts and feelings. Do you find within them any thoughts or feelings of vindictiveness or resentment towards another? Are there feelings of hurt, sadness, or sorrow, perhaps, growing out of events in and from which you feel you have been wronged, and thus justified in harboring anger and resentment against those responsible? Or do you feel that you have been mistreated in a manner not at all deserved, and thus entitled to be angry? Think back over your life. Recall to your mind occasions when you felt others had harmed you in some way. Have you since forgotten them? You may have said to them directly or silently within your heart and mind, "I forgive you." But have you truly forgiven them? Or do you continue to carry a hurt feeling about what they did to you? Are you harboring some resentment over this? If there are any such remnants of those events remaining, whatever they may be, there has been no real forgiveness. To forgive means to conclude completely the event, to release completely from all thought and memory everything that happened, including all feelings of harm or injury, whether thought as justified or not. If these or similar thoughts and feelings are present in your consciousness to any degree, in any form, then you should know that you have not given obedience to the law of forgiveness. When you say to another, "I forgive you," show forgiveness through love, through prayer, through actions founded in love. When you so give of your love, resentment cannot remain alive, nor can feelings of hurt and self-pity remain in your heart. There is a vast difference between speaking forgiveness and giving forgiveness. It is essential, however, that you give time and thought to the principles of causation and compensation, and thus remember that all things have their purpose, that each act, each occurrence, each event is a link to another, one with the other in the chain of your life. And rather than continue to hold on to old hurts, sorrows, and resentments, and the negative effects they hold on you, release them. Turn them loose by the beautiful cleansing power of forgiveness. This is so much easier said than done, this we know. But sooner or later, my beloved, you must learn to give complete obedience to this law, when it shall become a continuing and constant practice in your life. And the more quickly you make this endeavor, the better it shall be for all concerned. Perhaps you may think that we have said nothing new here. Nevertheless, what we say is profoundly important to what you do with your life. The initiates, the blessed ones, long ago learned of the need to practice total and complete forgiveness. Persevere in your efforts. Practice the disciplines that come through the dynamics of this principle. Each time you truly, freely, voluntarily give forgiveness to the debt or trespass of another, you immediately sense the cleansingness and the beauty of the white light of the Father's love as it courses throughout all your being in a fervent and deeply felt blessing from Him. And there is yet another whom you must forgive. That one is yourself. Do not let feelings of guilt over past misdeeds and mistakes cause you harm and hold you back in your growth. For you must learn also to give release unto yourself from these happenings, especially those for which you have made amends and have been forgiven. This is not to say that you are to gloss over misbehavior, but it is a mistake to hang on to the past and its mistakes and misdeeds, because this can lead to a self-imposed false sense of martyrdom, which can be indeed harmful. As you view this moment, which gives you so strongly a sense of a truly new beginning, of a phase in your life, why not resolve to begin it upon a firm foundation, upon the principle of brotherhood? You could choose no better way to move than to seek with all earnestness and desire to make application of this principle in your life. And so we would suggest, beloved brethren, that you be resolved that no thought shall be entertained or word spoken or act committed unless it is such as would meet the test. Remember always to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If your contemplated thoughts and actions are of this nature, then freely send them forth. As you must see, this truth is founded upon love, as is all truth. This principle teaches quite simply the giving of kindness and love. Indeed, as you seek after truth, you shall always find that all relationships begin with peace, contentment, and joy to their participants, with their existence founded in and are supported by this principle. Whenever man brings the power of this truth to the level where this is the motivation of life, he finds that beautiful and lasting relationships are always the fruits of his endeavor. Therefore, let yourself rise above the worldly and material things of your life. Always keep your eyes upon the Christ star. Aspire to become even purer in your daily living, that the Christ light may become your guiding star in all your affairs. Make this a day of joy, of praise and thanksgiving. Indeed, we give thanks unto the Father and Mother God, that we may meet with you and enfold you in our love. This, to us, is a blessing from the Father, that we may know you and the many others to whom we can go and share in God's many and abundant blessings. We are hopeful that you shall follow the guidance which comes from your higher self, and from that which we are permitted to place before you. We know, however, that should you refuse to follow this form of guidance, or elect to follow some other way, sooner or later you will find yourself back at this same point on your path, and, remembering the experiences you have gained, choose to follow the proper way. This is one very effective way to learn discernment. You can be shown and told what to do, but ordinarily this alone is not sufficient to give you the experiences your soul seeks to have and to gain. Only the life you live can give you the personal experiences and knowledge then needed. The decisions you are called upon to make, the sense of judgment you learn to exercise, and the various situations thus presented operate to give you the opportunities necessary to bring you the wisdom you seek. Perhaps this is a good time to point out one further aspect with reference to the guidance your invisible brothers are giving you. Do not labor under the belief that such guidance always comes to you in a direct and straightforward manner. Frequently, it is given in subtle and hidden form. This may come as a surprise to some. However, the wisdom of this practice becomes evident as you move forward in your spiritual quest. You may have at some time wondered over what the underlying purposes may be for you having taken this incarnation. If you should do this, you may begin to have a greater appreciation of this arrangement which exists between you and your guides. Through the form of life incarnate, you are provided a specific means of gaining spiritual wisdom and growth which is not attainable in any other way. But this growth does not ordinarily come about unless you affirmatively strive for it. Learning to actively use the power of your mind, a powerful tool entrusted to you by the Father, is an important step. Indeed, failing or refusing to do this is worse than misusing it. Far too many expect their guides to provide the answers to all problems they may face, or to direct their every step. And unfortunately, there are entities, spirits, who endeavor to oblige, and they lead the incarnate to think they are receiving correct guidance when they are not. It should be evident to you that such a guide would be doing harm rather than good. If your brothers in spirit make all your decisions and solve all your problems, what do you gain from such experiences? While a measure of growth comes to your spiritual brethren from the special experience they gain in serving as a guide, this does not give them any right or occasion to live the life of the incarnate brethren for them. Indeed, they gain far more wisdom through the anxieties and sufferings they endure while observing their incarnate brethren's failure to receive and follow the guidance they have set before them. We would suggest, dear brethren, that you avoid the temptation to rely exclusively upon the advice, counsel, or decisions appearing to come from a spirit guide or entity. You never learn discernment by accepting at face value all that comes from spirit. Discernment is learned by examining, testing, and weighing carefully all that is received, and by listening to the still, small voice within. You must learn to use your own mind and exercise common sense. Indeed, you must learn to utilize all your talents, lest they atrophy and become lost to you. It may seem that we digress from our theme. However, we would demonstrate that there are valid reasons underlying the practice of hiding spiritual truth, guidance, and all the mysteries of life in parables and subtle forms. This practice has long been generously employed among those segments of the populace who are genuinely bent upon finding the truth and utilizing the powers gained from this for the benefit of mankind generally, and not for personal gain or misdirected use. A meditation, the Temple of Light. We would have you work with us in building a temple of light. There is an importance to this, as it shall serve as a means of reaching others who may have doubts as to their purpose in life. We ask that you relax completely in your physical being and remove from your mind every thought other than the one thought: I know that I am light, and that there lies within me the beautiful, majestic, white light of the Christ Spirit, and that I may consciously give of this light, which is my love, unto others. We now call upon you to use this light to mold and to build this, your temple of light. Concentrate this energy into the form of the temple which represents to you the most holy of places. As you do this, a temple of great beauty is formed, and you find yourself within it. Now bring to your mind the concept of the beloved Master Jesus. He appears before you and extends his hand to you, that you would touch his presence in this way. As you take hold of his hand, you feel the great flow of energy from the Christ to you, and from you to the Christ. You observe the brilliant radiance of his being becoming even more brilliant and radiant. Indeed, the light about the Master becomes brighter and brighter, and begins to extend farther and farther out from him, until it encompasses everything within the length of your sight. But still the radiance continues to build and build, and lo, you see that there are many souls coming from outer reaches of his light to join with the Christ and with you. Indeed, a whole host of brethren are coming to join with you. As the number of souls increases, you witness that the beloved Master touches and blesses each one with his love, who in turn consciously and purposely touches and blesses the others, thus giving their love to one another and to the Christ. A halo of light surrounds everyone, which also increases in intensity and brilliance as the flow of energy of their love increases. The light of this temple, the radiant white light of the love of the Christ, has lit all the space surrounding you as far as the eye can see, and everyone within its radiance is lifted up and blessed by it. You also become aware of this, that as you consciously give of your love to the Master, you are giving of your love unto all the others who have come into the light. For you have both sensed and seen the flow of your love reaching to them. Thus you are able to more deeply comprehend the relationship you have with all others and with God. You are of love and are light. Within the temple of your being, the light of your love remains ever radiant and brilliant in its everlasting divine essence. The power of God which seeks to be made manifest unto all men. May this purpose of your soul and spirit be majestically and profoundly fulfilled. If this be your will, then so shall it be. To the extent to which you have given of yourself of this exercise, the light you have created has reached to souls who have long remained in darkness, and who now have direction and motivation to move towards the light of consciousness. Take of the blessing this brings you, for you have given, so shall it be given unto you. This is the law. We bless you, dear ones, and cover you with our light of love, indeed, the light of the Father's love. Please go to the Sons of the Law of One podcast page and subscribe to get each new episode downloaded to your computer automatically. There is also videos, PDFs, links to a wealth of information in the Law of One directory. Music for this podcast was by D.A. Kroll and is available through a link on the music credit page of the sonsofthelawof1.com. That's all for now. Love and light to all.